So this is the hints for S4 National 5 Homework 2. In question 1 we're asked to solve the inequality and equation for x. In the first question you've got 3 brackets 4 minus 2x all over 2 is greater than or equal to 12. Now the first thing you're doing for both of these questions, including part B when you're dealing with a fraction as well, is we need to eliminate that fraction. We do that by multiplying both sides by the denominator. So in the case for question 1a, it's times it by 2, because the 2 on the top on the left hand side and the 2 on the bottom of your fraction will cancel out, leaving you purely your numerator, which is 3 bracket 4 minus 2x is greater than and equal to 12 times 2, which is 24. You would then multiply out your brackets like normal and solve for x. Now the same applies for part B. You've got 2 bracket 4x plus 10 all over 4 is equal to 1. You want to multiply to get rid of the fraction, multiply out the brackets and then solve for x. In question 2 you're asked to fully simplify 3 3/4 plus 2 5/6. Now what we do here is to start off we add the mixed numbers. So we add the 3 and the 2 at the front. So 3 plus 2 gives me 5. Then I can focus on the fraction, which is 3/4 plus 5/6. Okay, so what I need to do here is I need to get a common denominator. So I need to pick the lowest common multiple of 4 and 6. Okay, so the first number that appears in the 4 and 6 times table, and I can put it all over the one denominator and then fully simplify. In question 3 you're looking to fully simplified in brackets say 2x to the power of 4 cubed divided by 4x to the power of minus 2. Now in this question you want to tidy up the numerator, so we will leave the denominator as it is. When you have anything inside a bracket to a power, you need to apply that power to every term inside the bracket. Okay, so we need to cube the 2 and cube the x to the power of 4. Okay, so when you cube the 2 it gives you 8, because 2 times 2 times 2 is 8, and I'll let you figure out what the power is for the x. We're then dividing, so we subtract our powers and divide the coefficients at the front. In question 5 I'm looking to fully factorise 2x squared minus 11x plus 12. Now we're dealing with a trinomial, so we know that it's going to be 2 brackets. The plus sign in front of the 12 tells us that both the brackets are going to have the same sign inside them, and the minus in front of the 11x tells us that it's going to have 2 negative signs inside the brackets, so both my brackets are going to be taken away. Now to factorise, I set up my table at the left hand side or right hand side of my page, and at the top of the table I take the coefficients of x squared, as that's what's going to start my bracket. So I take the factors of 2, so it's the factors of the coefficient, and they can only be 2 and 1. Then inside my table I take all the factors of 12, which are 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. And because my numbers at the top are different, 2 and 1 are different numbers, I have to rewrite all my factors. So 4 and 3, 6 and 2, 12 and 1. So I just write them out in reverse. You're then looking to cross multiply to find out which pair of factors is going to give you minus 11 when you subtract them away from each other. In question 6 you're looking to solve the equation for x and y. You're given 3x plus 2y equals minus 1 and 4x minus 3y is equal to minus 24. Same way any simultaneous equation, you need to start them off by naming your equations 1 and 2, and we're always looking to eliminate the y, so we look for the lowest common multiple between 2 and 3, that's our 2y coefficients, and that is 6, so we have to multiply each equation until we get 6y, times the first one by 3, times the second one by 2. Now you guys are getting good at your simultaneous equations, so I'll let you solve this one from here. In question 7, you're looking to expand the brackets. X plus 2 bracket x squared plus 3x minus 1. Now it's very similar to FOIL, but you can't use it here because there's 3 terms in the second bracket. So what we do is we break it up. Now you have to multiply each term in the second bracket by x, and that will give you 3 answers. And then you multiply each term in the second bracket by positive 2. And that will give you an additional 3 answers. So what you'll have in the second line is you'll have equal to 6 terms. Okay, so you'll have 6 different terms on the second line. Then you'll tidy it up, collect your like terms and fully simplify. In question 8, we're looking to complete the square here and write it in the form x plus p squared plus q for the equation x squared plus 4x plus 1. Now when we're completing the square, we start our bracket off with an x, and then we half the term in front of the x. Okay, so I've got a positive 4, so I'm going to half that, and that'll go inside my brackets. Okay, so that'll be squared. To get my term outside the bracket, I'm going to square the term that I've put inside the bracket. So whatever half of 4x is, a positive 4, I'm going to square that, and whatever my answer is, I need to think, well, what do I need to do to that number to get to 1? Okay, so you square that term, and you plus or minus a number to equal 1. Okay, so when you square that term, you'll get a number, and you think, right, do I need to add anything to that to get 1, or do I need to subtract a number from that to get 1? In question 9, Mr and Mrs Smith take their 2 children to the zoo, and the tickets cost a total of £32. Dr Jones takes his 3 children to the zoo on the same day, and his total cost is £26. So we're looking to calculate the cost for an adult ticket, represented by the letter A, and a child ticket represented by the letter C. So the first thing we have to do is we have to create our own equations, and then we can solve the simultaneous equations. So Mr and Mrs Smith would be 2 adults. They take their 2 children to the zoo, so it would be 2A plus 2C, and that comes to a total of £32. Now the second equation, Dr Jones, so that's going to be 1 adult. He takes his 3 children to the zoo, so that's plus 3C, and his total cost comes to £26. So similar to question 6, I have to name my equations 1 and 2. I'm then looking for the lowest common multiple between 2 and 3 again, to cancel out the C, so I can solve for A first. So again, I'll multiply to get 6C by times in equation 1 by the equation 2 by 2. Now your answer in context here. So once you solve your simultaneous equation, remember to give your answer as adult equals how many pounds, and child is equal to how many pounds. Remember and leave your answer in context, please. In question 10, we've got a truncated cone, and it's shown, and we get that by cutting a small cone off of the top of a big cone, and we're looking to calculate the volume of this shape. Now the volume of a cone is given by the formula 1/3 pi r squared h. Now what we've got here is we've got 2 calculations. You've got the large cone, and we've also got the small cone. Okay, so to work out the volume of this shape, we need to find the volume of the large cone and subtract the volume of the small cone. All the information you need is in the diagram. V stands for volume, R stands for radius, and H is the height. Okay, so you can get all that information from the diagram on the left hand side. Hope these hints have helped, and good luck with your homework.